Hi friends, welcome back to my channel. For today's video, we're doing a recap roundup of some recent complexion items I've purchased. We're talking foundation, concealer, highlighter, blush, that sort of thing. But before we go any further, let's take a second to grab our iced coffee or hot coffee. Let's take a sip and let's get started. So today we have had our first official snowfall, like real deal snowstorm. So if you can hear like one of those trucks clearing out the snow in the background, that's just what that is. Welcome to winter. Okay, so we're gonna go ahead and start off with foundations, I think, as the base here. I recently picked up a couple of foundations here. I have the Prada Reveal foundation. I got this in store in London in October. And then I also have the Shiseido Revitaliscence Skin Glow. Now these two foundations could not be more different from each other here. This Prada, the shade here is MN40. So for Prada Beauty, there's one and only foundation available. This is the texture here. So this foundation, it really is a nice medium coverage with like a soft velvet matte, and it's really a beautiful matte. I like it, you know, it's quite long wearing. It's one of those foundations that withstands scarf wearing and bundled parka wearing. It's pretty resistant and transfer proof, but this one does have alcohol in the formulation, and you can see it drying down here on the back of my hand. So it does have a soft, velvety, powdery finish. So I have dry, dehydrated skin, so I like it. But if you have super dry skin, or if you live in even worse climate than me, this may not be a great foundation for winter unless you go in with something very moisturizing and very nurturing for a primer or you know, skincare, things like that. This has like a little caveat, but it is great for just like super, like, I don't know, long wearing all day, stays in place, has a nice level of coverage. Now the Shiseido foundation here, this is totally different. Shiseido has several foundations available. This one here is one of the newest additions, the Revitaliscence Skin Glow. This is more of like a skin serum. So the texture is different. It's really runny. It runs like water. And the shade here is 350 Maple. And the Shiseido foundation is what I'm wearing today. It feels much more fluid. It feels like a serum. And this foundation, the Shiseido one, is much more hydrating. Think all day moisture, really. Like if you have super dry skin, this is something you would definitely enjoy, especially for winter. It has glow and luminosity with it all day. So if you have oily skin, I would avoid it, but it's really great. And it's almost like it's a light medium. At first I thought it was more light, but it's actually closer to a medium coverage foundation, which is interesting because it is so luminous, so glowy, and so hydrating at the same time. So for winter, for cold months, I think this is going to be really nice. I did put a little bit of powder just because I wanted it to be a little bit less luminous, but this here, I think it's really nice. And I was gonna say you could layer it with something else, but honestly, it has like a nice medium coverage. So I don't think I'm gonna layer with anything else. I might just do a little bit of powder like I did today, just to not be quite as luminous. But this one here is really great for every day, you know, because it is so hydrating. It's been a few minutes here and you can sort of see the difference in the finish. This is the Prada one, and you can see it is looking drier, whereas the Shiseido one still looks a bit wet. It won't look quite this wet all day, but this is just to give you an example of the difference in finishes. Next up is a concealer, and it's what I'm wearing today. This is the Armani Luminous Silk. So we have the Luminous Silk Foundation series, but this is the concealer, and this is the shade 5.5. This is what the Armani concealer looks like. So one thing to note is when you're pulling this out of the tube, don't just like yank it out, because the formulation of this concealer is so liquidy. It's liquidy, similar to the Shiseido foundation, just like very watery, very runny. And so there's been times when I've just sort of yanked it out quickly and splashed concealer on myself. So annoying. So you'll notice when I'm opening it up, I'm just like going like this instead of yanking it. So this is a swatch of the concealer. It has a little bit of peach to it. And as you can see, this dries so quickly. I basically just went like this and it dries on contact. Some concealers take minutes to, oh my God, let me just, yeah. Some concealers take minutes for them to dry down, whereas this dries down, not instantly, but really within seconds. You can see it drying here as we speak, which is nice because sometimes when I have a very tacky concealer, I leave it on my skin for a minute before blending it out. But this, it's almost instant. So it's almost quicker to use because I'm not waiting for things to sort of dry down. It's very quick. I like it as a concealer. It's 5.5 is meant to have a little bit of peach to it. I feel like it has a little bit of peach. It could have a little bit more, but I like the coverage. I find that the formula is light but covers. I think it covers nicely. It works well. It blends really very nicely, very quickly. And I've used up quite a bit of it actually over the past couple of months that I've had it. There's still, like every now and then I can sort of see a little spot here where I can actually see that I'm making a dent in how much concealer I'm using. So this is great, would highly recommend it. Okay, next up is an item that I think was a little bit, not controversial, but like, I don't know. This year for the holiday season, Chanel came out with like, I think 17 highlighters, and that's not even an exaggeration. They came out with 15 highlighters, like the jumbo oversized ones, and then they had a duo in the holiday collection, and then they had this Sublimage Le Concentré Lumière, which is a liquid highlighter. It's like the ultimate radiance primer. So this is a primer slash liquid highlighter, and it's what I'm wearing today. Now, I like to wear this, I like to layer it underneath my foundation because I find that it can have a little bit too much glow. So you can see the texture is very thick, almost like a gel. You know, it's not running, it's not fluid. It's very, very beautiful. But when you really break it down and sort of rub it on your skin, you can get a little bit of glitter finish, I find. Just every now and then, there's something there that isn't, I don't know, I think you can kind of see it. Like it's still very beautiful and very luminous, but I like to wear it underneath. I find that that slight glitter effect is non-existent underneath the foundation. If I just layered it on top like this, I feel like I notice it a little bit more. And so yeah, I just like to layer it underneath. I treat it like it's a primer, and that's where I put it under the cheekbones here. And yeah, it's beautiful. I think it's really nice. I know for some people, they don't like the price tag because it's Sublimage, and I get it, I understand, but this is the only highlighter that I picked up this season from all the holiday releases. I got the Tom Ford one, but from Chanel, considering they had 17 highlighters, this is the only one that I got, and I think it's really beautiful. I like to treat it like it's a primer, and that's usually how I like to wear liquid highlighters, so it's not really any different for me. I think for some reason this is limited edition, and I don't know why. Like this makes no sense for me for it to be limited edition because it came out with a holiday release. I get that, but this is just like a Sublimage makeup product. You know, like there's Sublimage foundations and concealer now. Like, why is this limited edition? I'm so confused. I hope it becomes permanent. It just, I don't know. Don't ask me why. Next up is a blush here that I got from Patrick Ta, and this is one of their cream and blush duo. This is the blush She's a Doll. I always forget how to open this. Anyway, so it comes with a powder and a cream, and what's interesting is you actually use the powder first and then the cream. I thought it was cream first and then powder, but it's more like you put the blush on and then the cream goes over top, and it almost acts as a highlighter. Like not really, but it just adds a bit of glow. Today, I'm just wearing the powder here, and this blush here is just like sort of like a neutral tone pink. It's very pink. It's the blush that I'm wearing. It's not too cool. It's not too warm. It's just sort of like a nice pink, but this blush is very potent, I have to say. Like a little bit goes a long way, and I did not layer the cream on top today because it's just too much sometimes. Like as much as I like having that sort of like Barbie-esque pink, some days it's just too much. I think I may have scratched the microphone there for a second, but this is the blush here. So this is a more concentrated version of it. And then this is the cream on top. And the cream almost pulls more coral. In person, I'm not sure how it looks on camera, but in person, the blush, the powder looks more blue-based, more pinky blue. And this one looks more coral. But as you can see, this is very punchy. It's very pretty. Like, it gives you that sort of like, I just came in from the cold and I have rosy cheeks. But like I stated, potent is the word that I would use for this blush. Like, a little bit goes a long way, just a little dab, and then keep blending it out. I know that they have a lot of other variations of this formulation of like the powder and the blush. I'm not sure if they're all the exact same, but this one here, She's a Doll, is a potent. So it is a very pretty blush, but it's not always the one that's staying on the top drawer, you know, for like really quick, like, really fast makeup. It's not always the one that I go for, because I just know if I go too heavy-handed, I take like more time trying to remove it, which is really annoying. But I have another blush here that is more of like the top shelf makeup, where I just know that I can wear it for any makeup look, and it's really easy to apply, easy to blend, not too intense. This is the Suku blush, the shade 01. This has a beautiful gradient to it, so you have the more orangey side, the more pink side, and then in the middle you can sort of swirl and get the best of both worlds. I typically gravitate towards more the pink, or I just swirl them both together. I'll give you a swatch of them separate and then also maybe mixed together as well. Suku blushes, this is new to me, but I can see why people like them. It's very soft. It really blends like into the skin like it's butter. So you can sort of see how different these two blushes are. Very, very different. This pink here is much more soft and subtle, and it almost even blends into the skin nicer here on the back of my arm than the Patrick Ta. It's more subtle. It really melts really quickly. So as you can see, this one here is the top shelf blush for me at the moment. I don't have to think about it. I went for the Patrick Ta today. Just, I don't know, it's feeling very pink, very Barbie-esque, but if I want something quicker and easier, it's this one here. And I like that because it has that beautiful gradient, it kind of works for almost, not every look, but so many looks. So I can see why the Suku blushes are so popular. This is the one item I got from Suku because that's the item that everyone told me to get. Okay, the last item here. I picked this up during or for the holiday release from Guerlain, and this is the Guerlain Terracotta Golden Leopard, and I am wearing this today. It's a bronzer. It's one of the beautiful Guerlain bronzers. I'm wearing a little bit today. That's this one here. So this is the holiday collection bronzer. Originally, this has had a highlighter overspray overlay just on top, not all the way. And you can still see that it has a beautiful leopard print logo. Now, I'm very conflicted. I love Guerlain. I like the blush, but I did not know that when I bought this, that the highlighter was just an overspray. Had I known that, I would not have picked this up. I thought that the highlighter was part of the swirl, it was going to be part of the bronzer indefinitely, and I would just keep swirling and digging and keep, you know, the mix together forever. That is not the case. You literally use it once. I used it on camera once, and I thought I was hallucinating because I was like, what just happened? It's an overspray. At the end of the day, this is just a bronzer. It's pretty, it's very pretty, it looks nice, but that's it. Like, I'll give you a swatch here. I have other bronzers from Guerlain that I like, but like I stated, had I known that this was just going to be an overspray, I would not have purchased it. It does have a beautiful luminous finish, like it's not like a super hard matte, so it looks luminous and healthy, but it's just not what I signed up for. And maybe it's my fault for not reading the super fine print, but I would argue that if even I can get bamboozled, I think anyone can. You know, like I buy a lot of makeup. I know a lot about makeup, but yeah, I was just disappointed. Like, it's not a bad product. It's just not what I expected. And sometimes that's really what causes like makeup disappointment when we have expectations of what a product will be, and then we try it and it's just totally different. So I personally would skip this one. If you're okay with it having an overspray once and that's it, fine, but otherwise just skip it. Everything else in today's video I like. The Patrick Ta blush I do like, it's just not every day, you know, like you just have to be mindful, otherwise you'll look like what was that character from the Drew Carey show, the one with like all the makeup? Yeah, a little bit less. Anyway, this is my roundup here of some recent complexion products. I did one recently of eyeshadow palettes. I'll go ahead and maybe leave a link to that down below so you can go ahead and check them out. Let me know if you like this type of recap roundup of purchases. I guess I could start doing this maybe monthly or bi-monthly, just sort of like look back to the recent purchases that I got and sort of, you know, give a refresher, a recap, because it's sort of nice to compare them side by side and see how they compete. Anyway, please make sure that you are subscribed to my channel. I talk a lot about luxury beauty. I do lots of reviews and tutorials and get ready with me, and I go and like mix new and old collections together. So you're going to see and re-see some of these collections on my channel. So make sure you're subscribed. Anyway, that's all I have for you guys for today. Thank you so much for stopping by. Hope you have a beautiful day, and I'll see you next time. Bye.